Good morning all. Well, you must be wondering what I am going to speak today. Okay, ये कौन सा astrologer आ गया? Is he going to tell us our destiny or is he going to tell patients' destiny? Well, it is nothing related to destiny. First and foremost, I want to clarify that we are homeopaths and we are not astrologers. So we are not going to predict anybody's destiny, or we are not going to say that okay, अरे तू तो कल मरने वाला. Please don't do that. From that we start our lecture. You know the Lord of Vedas and Lord of Astrology also is Lord Ganpati. Without his blessings, we cannot do anything. So even though we will be learning the mathematical part, the wisdom and the conscience is going to be given by our Guru. So you call them God, you call them Guru, you want to call them anything you want. But without his blessing, we cannot go ahead. Secondly, Hanuman. He is God for us, for homeopathy. He was the first person to explain what is dynamism in homeopathy. If you have gone through Organon, I will show you some aphorisms where he has mentioned the spiritual force, vital force. So our concept is based on spirit. So he was the first person, we would say, to rediscover the importance of dynamism in homeopathy. Then our Guru, of course, my sir and my Guru, Dr. Praful Vijayakar. Without his help and insight, I wouldn't be here. He was the person who helped me to use this method in his camps. And over the years past, nearly I think so 4 years, I have been able to perfect it to some extent. Now, why have you come here? Or what do you expect to learn out of these sessions? Most important is to understand yourself. What do you mean by to understand yourself? See, everybody must have experienced that you are able to treat some cases better, some cases you are not able to treat better. Like for example, few doctors may be very good in psychiatric cases, few doctors may be very good in difficult cases, few doctors must be very good in emergency cases, few doctors must be very good in skin cases. Now even though we as homeopath treat a person as a whole, but then still we find that there is our inclination to few cases or few personalities. Like few doctors must be given more of sulfur, few must be given more of lacases. Why? Or why we have favorite drugs? Now why is it that all of us cannot think the same way? That is what the chart, your chart will help you to understand what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. For example, a person may take case for hours together and he may be able to arrive at the right feeling of a person, while there may be some doctor who will just prescribe in a minute. Why? Both the results are, both give excellent results, but the methodology is different. Why? So this will help you to understand yourself. Because from your chart, you will be able to understand what type of diseases you can tackle better. What are your strengths and weaknesses? I have already explained to you. Like you might be a panicky person yourself, so for you to treat cancers or cardiac cases might be difficult. While a person who is very mass dominant, he would like to venture into that areas. Mass means strength of a person. So if he is mass dominant, he would definitely like to take up serious cases and serious challenges. While a person who is moon dominant, moon means sensitivity, will be taking one grahas or planets in details. But just to give you an idea, I am telling you. If you are Mercury dominant, you will be prescribing more of sulfur zone. Or people who are more logical mindset, you will be able to understand them better. You will not be able to understand sensitive cases. While people who are Saturn dominant, they will be able to understand chronic cases. They will have patience. You know, I should not change the remedy. I should wait and watch. So where cases where they require a lot of patience, vitiligo, leukoderma, resistant tuberculosis, where you cannot find results very fast. कि बाबा एक महीना जा रहा है and patient is sitting on your head. अरे, I am not getting better. But the person will have patience. Okay, let's wait and watch. So he will be able to cure that cases much more better. Basic understanding of astrology in relation to homeopathy. Astrology is a vast subject. I have been learning this subject for past 7 years. I don't know even 10% of it. So, what is important as for us as a homeopath, and how to filter it out, and what to apply. And we have to discard a lot of things, like the prediction part which I told to you. We are not astrologers. We are not going to predict. So we totally rule out the prediction part. We are only going to understand the person. So the points in astrology which are relevant to homeopathy, I am trying to take this part. Reading horoscope and try to understand what is striking in the chart. Like what what Sir says. अरे patient आला तो lachesis है. अरे he comes, he is sitting like this, he is sulfur. So this is what is striking in a patient when the patient comes in. But that quality may not be present in all of us to identify. Each and every patient, he just takes a round and he'll give prescription in 2 minutes and he'll finish 100 patients. And out of the 50-70 improve. For us, it might be difficult because we are not so much experienced, or we may not be a keen observer like he is. So, if we use his method, like many of you are in predictive homeopathy out here. So, if we use his method and correlate it with what is striking in the chart, chances of you missing key points are very less. So definitely it will help you to prescribe. Understand disease predisposition and miasm. Like everybody of us, we are predisposed to particular disease. Some may be predisposed to respiratory illnesses, some may be predisposed to GIT illnesses, some may be predisposed to weaknesses in general. So that it will help you to understand. And when can you expect a complete cure? This is most important. This is the thing where it has helped me maximum. We go on treating patients for years together. We see that few patients improve in 3 months and the patient gets cured. Few patients take years together. Why? That answer probably I'll be able to tell you in this session. And when to change the medicine and when not. Due to our impatience, we change medicines very fast. A patient is improving very fast and suddenly something happens, he is not improving for a particular period. Okay, he requires a complementary medicine. So we give a complementary medicine. We go on giving the complementary medicine and we see that the patient is not improving. Again, after few months, we again go back to the same medicine with what he was improving, and we find he is improving again. Why? This is where the chart and the dashas definitely help me. Now, how this journey started, I will just tell you a short story. It was around 7 years back. Me and my friend were talking. He loves astrology, or his life is directed by astrology. A friend of mine. तो ये सारे मेरे ये तकलीफ हो रही है मुझे, this all problem, things are not clicking for me. Okay. तो So he told me, your Rashi is this, your Lagna is this, so your personality is like this, and you are going through this dasha, so you must be facing this disease or this type of problem. Well, how can you arrive to that conclusion? Also the mathematics hai, likha gaya hai. It is all written. Well, I found it interesting. So then there was one case, it was a case of Bird-Cherry syndrome. I was not able to come to any conclusion. She was just 6 months or 8 months old, that child. Youngest case, one of the youngest cases in India to go for a liver transplant. They were going to go for a liver transplant, but it was not done, and they were unaffordable also. And I was not coming to any conclusion. So I called him. इसका chart देख के बोलना मुझे. Tell me about her nature. I prescribed hell lot of remedies. He told me, Rahu Mangal hai in 2nd house, and Shani is in 4th house. So उसको कुछ ना कुछ तो neglected feeling होगा. Now 6 months old child, mother's history I was not getting much. और आगे जाके बहुत quarrelsome बनेगा. तो और possessive होगी, suspicious हो सकती है. So this is the conclusion he gave to me. And with that a liver remedy, a bleeder, I gave that child Crotalus aureus. It's now 7 years. She did not require any tapping. She used to go for tapping every week. The doctors are, her liver is totally failed, it's totally cirrhosed, but still she is alive and she is going to school. I don't know what is happening to her. No doctor knows, but she is surviving without requiring any tapping. Or her bilirubin is absolutely normal. I thought it is great. Why not explore this field? I called him to my clinic. I told, okay, you diagnose the patient, yours with which cases I feel are not improving, or I am not able to come to a remedy. Then he started, अच्छा तू ये पूजा कर, तू ये कर, तेरे साथ ये होने वाला है, all these things are going to happen. Well, this is not what I need. It is not so. You are not supposed to advise all these things. Then I thought, no, it's no use of calling an astrologer. I have to learn it myself, and this is how the journey began. Then, after approaching sir, and I started working on the camps, then I found a common theme. We saw nearly, I think so, more than 1,000 cases in camps. So there developed a common theme. Then I found that, okay, this type of charts require, Mars dominant requires Merc Sol. So all Merc Sol have Mars dominant. All Palladiums have Venus dominant. All Phosphoruses have Moon dominant. So okay, there is something which is common. And then gradually I came to this concept. Then I tried attending classes like what Dr. Lata told. They train astrologers, they don't train homeopaths. So for a person like me, it took 5 years. I'm a little slow, little barata. But then we are trying to make it in 2 sessions or 3 sessions. So the aim of the series is to prescribe in the chart. But not to prescribe on the chart for you, but to confirm your thought process. What I am doing is, few people here must have observed me prescribe on the chart in camps. See, that has come after a lot of experience. We are not supposed to learn this here, and we are not supposed to do it here. The method will no way replace traditional case taking. You have to take your case history in details. You have to come to some conclusion. It will only help you to eliminate the remedies, and it will help you to see whether whatever you are observing in the patient, is it perfect or not. It will help you to eliminate the remedy which you are shortlisted, and you will be on a sure ground of see. The basic problem of all homeopaths is, अरे मैंने तुझे आज दवाई दे दिया, कल तू ठीक होगा कि नहीं, तू कल मुझे बोलने के बाद ही पता चलेगा. But with this method, I can guarantee you that at least 80% you will be sure of your prescription. तुमने लैकेसिस दिया है तो काम करना चाहिए. So this surety, you can give it to yourself and you can give it to your patients. why we'll end up in failures. Main problem for all homeopaths is an improper history and faulty interpretation. What do you mean by improper history? Either the patient is not giving any history, patient is comatose, he is not able to give you history, you have to rely on the relatives for history. The relatives may give you a very good, very rosy picture or a very bad picture. It's newborn child or the child is only 6 months old. Patient is illiterate. We are not getting any mother's history of pregnancy in that patient. Difficult to prescribe. Faulty interpretation. What do you mean by that? Patient gives a lengthy history. So you are not able to just telling I am anxious, मैं डरपोक भी हूँ, मैं jealous भी हूँ, I am reserved, I like consolation, I don't like consolation. Hysterical type of females or schizophrenic, psychotic patients. So in such cases, what to pick up from the case becomes very difficult. So you go to 5 homeopaths, I will prescribe on this keynote, on this symptoms, 3 symptoms, the other colleague of mine will prescribe on this 3 symptoms, the 4th colleague of mine will prescribe on these 3 symptoms, and we don't know which, until the patient gets better, who is right. And wrong remedy is the last. So these are the limitations, failures in homeopathy. Infants, mentally retarded patients, hardly any symptoms to prescribe, coma patients, psychic cases, only one-sided patient symptoms. Patient being very reserved or introvert, not giving any symptoms. Patient being too talkative. Now, this is one more concept. Now, we find that sepia may go to phosphorus, phosphorus may go into sepia. When it will happen? Or when should I change the medicine? Nothing happens by coincidence. First rule, you have to observe, or you have to think, means you have to put it in your mind that there are no coincidences happening in this world. It is all mathematics. So whenever dasha, we are going to go through that concept in detail, whenever the dasha of a person changes, your personality is going to see a remarkable change. So that time you require a change in medicine. So we say, whether to prescribe on the childhood history, whether to prescribe on the present state, whether to prescribe a genetic constitutional, whether to prescribe on the acute disease. In cancer cases, what to take? Where everything goes haywire. There are no laws which are followed at all. So here, the dasha, the astrological chart will help us to come to a conclusion. Now we'll go to similarities. How astrology is similar to homeopathy. For a person to be a good homeopath or a good astrologer, he has to have a very strong Jupiter. What do you mean by Jupiter? Jupiter is the wisdom part in you. Is the conscience. Because your purpose should help. Your purpose should be that I want to cure the patient. That is very important. If your purpose is money, boss, you cannot become a good astrologer, you cannot become a good homeopath. Money automatically comes. But the purpose should be noble. So you have to be intelligent, you have to be observant, you have to be wise. Most important is wise. Second thing, so what you are perceiving, what is your intelligence? Second thing is your comprehension or your interpretation. That is your logical part. It is a CPU which is present in every individual. That is governed by Mercury. That is what we call the mathematical part. One is the wisdom part, second thing is the mathematical part. That is done by, interpretation is done by Mercury or the logical part. So what you are seeing, you need to interpret into repertorial language, into computer language. So this all things are done by Mercury. Third is moon, the expression part. You have to be sensitive. Dr. Hahnemann says the physician has to be sensitive. So you should be caring. You should be able to express, you should explain to the patient what he is suffering, what is to be cured in you, and how and when do you expect cure. So this sensitiveness comes from moon. Only then, all three if you have in you, you become a good homeopath and a good astrologer. So are you getting the comparison between these two fields? In aphorism 11, Hahnemann has said, when a person falls ill, it is only the spiritual self-acting automatic vital force everywhere present in this organism that is predominantly deranged. So here the concept of spirit is being clearly mentioned, or the concept of vital force. Vital force is basically the spirit. In footnote 7, he has explained that how moon affects us. In full moon we have high tides, in new moon we have high tides and low tides. So he has also acknowledged, and according to him it is not the gravity, it is that we can't understand this force still. And we are saying it in and out in our patients, and majority of patients are aggravated on new moon and full moon. Why? We say it is salt and water, we say it is gravity, we say it is presence. These are all theories or all explanations. Nobody knows it perfectly why it happens. Or the science is still primitive for that. Third similarity. We know that reactions are of three types: soric, syphilitic, soric, psychotic and syphilitic. Soric reaction is sattvic according to astrology. What do you mean by sattvic? When a person comes to harm you, try to explain that person, which is not possible in Kali Yuga, but definitely you can try. Inflammatory reaction. So sattvic, chalo, you are not meaning any harm to that person. You have got psychosis or rajasic is one. अरे मुझे लूटने आया ना, अरे ये ले ले 1 लाख रुपया ले ले, मुझे छोड़ दे, मेरी जान बस बख्श दे. This is rajasic or psychotic reaction. Syphilitic reaction, chalo, if it is strong, he may kill that robber. If he is weak, he may get himself killed. So that is positive and negative syphilis. So this is tamasic. Sora is creation. That is what we call Satyuga, which was there. If we divide our yugas, you know, Satyug, Dwapar, and last is Kali Yuga. So we are at present in Kali Yuga, so we find very less Sora now. So Soric, so that is why in my practice or wherever I am, even in Sir's practice, where complete cure is slightly difficult, if not impossible. Slightly difficult. Because it takes years, and for you to go into Sora, where there are so many forces of psychosis and syphilis around you, it becomes difficult for a person to maintain that health. Like whatever you are eating is polluted, whatever you are drinking is polluted, in the environment you are inhaling is polluted. It is Darwin's law, competition, psychosis. It may be positive competition, positive psychosis, negative competition may be syphilis. And you are destroying somebody and going ahead. So very difficult. So ultimately we are all heading towards syphilis. That is what is clearly given in all Puranas. Everything is going to get destroyed and we are going to start a new life. Satyuga. So at present we will be seeing more of psychosis and syphilis. So this is ruled by Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Shiva. Shiva is syphilis, the destroyer. I have already explained you. One is the mathematical part or the logical part, others is the spiritual part. Spiritual part is governed by Guru. Logical part is governed by Mercury. So now in your chart, if you have these three planets which are strong, especially Mercury and Jupiter, you can become a good homeopath as a good astrologer. So I believe all of you are good homeopaths, so you can become good astrologers. So don't worry. So the concept is again the art and science concept. In both, we consider the chart and the person as a whole. I always remember this advertisement. I don't know many of you remember or not. When I was small, there used to be a picture of an elephant with 7 people standing there with their eyes closed. So one used to hold a leg and used to tell her it is a tree trunk. One used to hold the nose of the elephant, used to tell, it's a snake. So the interpretations, if you apply partly in homeopathy as well as in astrology, you are going to make the same mistake. So you have to see the chart as a whole, as well as in homeopathy you have to think of person as a whole, where you will be thinking the miasm, you will be taking the physical, general, physical, but everything, complete case history. You cannot approach